Hello, Teresa Phelps Martin bringing you the energetic signature for September 24th until September 30th, 2022. So you can be real, you can be true, you can be soulfully you. And that soulfulness is about connecting to your inner world, connecting to the depths of your essence, and bringing that energy forward. And what better time to be talking about the relationship with your inner self and bringing that out into the world to share, to collaborate, to organize and connect and partner, than the movement into Libra season. So I am recording this on Wednesday when the moon is in Leo and the sun is still in Virgo. I wanted to make sure that there were no glitches, no clips, because Mercury is retrograde. And I saw a meme saying that Mercury's in the microwave or something. I needed to get out. But if you put with that visual, so bear with me. And yes, I'm in a different space in my house. I needed to switch it up, which I'll explain to you briefly. Mercury in the microwave. Add in Pluto, the planet of transformation, what is hidden, what is unseen, the depth, the darkness, the underworld. Transformation, your power, your strength, your ability to evolve, also in the microwave. Uranus, the cosmic revolutionary, the insight, the cosmic mind, the higher energy that we can intuit, and in our ability to intuit, we can take the messages from above, break ground, and give birth to new, to take that evolution and revolve. Uranus is in the microwave. Neptune, the unseen, the spiritual, that dimension that is not in this world, that reflective energy, that photographic, that film, that way we portray things, the illusion and the delusion. I also like to call Neptune the fairy godmother, the unseen support system that's out there. Also in the microwave. Also in the microwave is Saturn. Saturn, this energy that is the taskmaster, what makes us be responsible, the reality check, the hard work, the effort, the contraction, the limitation, the ruler of time. Also in the microwave. Jupiter, the benevolence, the expansion, the good fortune, the luck, the dreams, the ability to explore and take on the adventure in the microwave. And now we have Mars thinking about entering the microwave. It happens at the end of October. And we have Mercury in the microwave. That is one heavy microwave. And I just keep seeing like the timer going down, boop, boop, boop. Feels like it's gonna explode. So that's my humor set aside, but I just wanted to record this early so that it came out on time. I'm the one who sets the time, so I know I can be flexible with it. So when we have this ability, the big things that are happening this week, there's a lot more ease. There's a lot of trines where there's like energy in the same element, air, earth, working together. We have oppositions, but the opposition is with Jupiter and Neptune. I'll get into that in a second. The sun will be in Libra, and we have the Libra new moon that's happening on September 25th at 5:55 in the afternoon, which is also the start of Rosh Hashanah. Correct? Yes. So the reason for that is we have this newness. We have the equinox. We have this threshold that we've crossed through. On September 23rd, we are officially in fall. I live in the Eastern time zone. The sun doesn't enter Libra until 9:03 p.m. on the 22nd. So that's kind of the end of the day. So that first official day of fall is this year on September 23rd, because believe it or not, it is marked by the zodiacal shift. It is where we have equanimity. We have the equilibrium. Equa is equal, nox is night. So our evenings are the same as our days, light and dark. So we often hear the balancing of the scales. I like to say you can balance scales and the scales are misaligned. I like to believe it's about alignment. Now, what we have is this big conversation with Mercury, which I didn't tell you what Mercury is. Mercury is our mind, the messenger, the communication, the commerce, the ability to exchange. So in this dimension, it's our mental state. Mercury is in retrograde in the microwave with all those other outer lying planets. It's the only personal planet in retrograde. Once Mars goes retrograde at the end of October, Mercury will be direct. But Mercury is that ability to be aware. And Mercury in Libra is aware of relationships, the truth's coming back. Mercury will conjunct the sun, and then Mercury moves into Virgo. That means the sun is the only planet in Libra. That it means the sun is the only energy that is illuminating this idea of partnerships, relationships, collaborations, connections. Mercury goes back into Virgo. It retrogrades backwards. It's not moving backwards, it just appears with the backdrop of the sky and our position here on Earth to be moving backwards. And so in this energy, it travels back in degree points into Virgo. It loves to be in Virgo. This is where Mercury is happiest. This is where Mercury can problem solve. It can fix, it can come up with new solutions. Venus, the planet of relationships and beauty and peace and resources, is also in Virgo. So she's very concerned about getting organized. So we have this idea that we should be in a Libra-like energetic signature, but we have a ton of earth energy. And a lot of feminine energy. We have Venus in Virgo, Mercury in Virgo, Uranus in Taurus, Pluto in Capricorn, and Neptune is our great water sign, which is still in Pisces. These are all the planets that are in more feminine signs. Earth and water elements are feminine. So they're more introverted, moving inward, receiving, receptivity, allowing, whereas we have Saturn, Mars, Jupiter, and masculine planets. Saturn's in Aquarius, Jupiter's in Aries, Mars is in Gemini. And so what we have is this, we're still kind of taking care of business. We're looking at this conclusion of Virgo season next week and this starting anew. Now, by the end of the week, Mercury will be in Virgo and Venus on the 29th will shift into Libra. Venus rules Libra. So the sun is talking to Venus right now. Venus is like, I'm prioritizing, I'm taking care of business. I am investing in what matters the most. Where am I putting energy? Well, the sun says, well, I'm putting my energy into partnerships, and Venus is saying, I'm still taking care of myself, my health, my well-being. I'm prioritizing and rearranging my life in a way to when I show up in Libra, that I can really bring this equanimity. I can bring this balance, this ability to understand where my energy is and what and how I want to give that energy out into the world. So with that being said, this is a beautiful time. Understanding this, Mercury conjuncts the sun. That means we'll be able to have new solutions. Mercury's moving backwards into Virgo. The sun just moved into Libra. So they cross at the same degree point in the sky in Libra at this 0 degree mark, which is a world point. So you can listen for messages of the greater relationship we have in our world. And as you listen for these messages or you hear of the news, of the mundane, of the worldly energy, you can actually tap into that energy for yourself. With that being said, what's being reflected back to you when Mercury goes back into Virgo? Remember, we're in that place of like, oh, I have new vantage points of how I engage with the bigger energy, with my relationships, with my friends, with my lovers, with my partners, with those that I do business with those that I live near. It's all about relationships. So then we take that energy into Virgo and we get busy to do the work to really change those thought patterns, change the narrative, change the inner dialogue that we have with ourselves. So when Mercury goes direct again, we can carry that energy with us. Venus is here doing the work when she will conjunct the sun as well. But she conjuncts the sun after she conjuncts Mercury. So Venus and Mercury are conjunct on the 26th. So what I'm sharing, all this that I'm sharing with, is all of this Mercury, Venus, sun energy is all sandwiching the sun and the moon. When the moon moves into Libra and we have the new moon Sunday evening on the 25th, you can adjust for your time zone. This is, I always share Eastern time. That only the sun and moon are in Libra. So that energetic signature of this cardinal initiatory, all right, we understand who we are, we understand what we're bringing forward, we're ready to collaborate, we're ready to partner. It's not there yet. Okay, it's not there yet. So what that means is that this is a chance to start anew, to take those habits and those patterns that you were letting go of during Virgo season, to feel that shift and that development. That's what we're here to do. We're here to evolve. We're here to grow. We're here to develop. We're not here to keep it all the same. So with this new moon, it's a very strong energy, because we have this clump of the moon and the sun are at the same point in Libra. Mercury and Venus, they are conjunct. What time is it on Monday? Oops, I didn't write the times down. Bummer. They're conjunct, and it's not that long after the moon. They are opposing the energy of Neptune, and the sun and the moon are opposing the energy of Jupiter. So if you saw a circle, and at that circle, like think about 9 o'clock, you have the sun and the moon at 9 o'clock. Well, you have Neptune and Jupiter at 3 o'clock. They're opposite each other. And then we have Mercury and Venus just under the 9, okay? And Neptune's above the 3 and Jupiter's below the 3. So we have this kind of place of releasing the veil. Venus is opposing Neptune. You're gonna see more clearly. You might feel all lovey and dreamy and wanting to create art over the weekend. Just don't get caught up in the waves of emotion unless it's something you've already invested in for some time. You're gonna be able to see clearly. You're gonna be able to see the bigger, or feel the connection to the bigger support system. And in that bigger support, allow yourself to be guided, to feel that directive energy. This is leading into this new moon. And when this new moon shows up, it's more or less at 3 degrees. It's opposite Jupiter. I spoke on it a little bit last week, but it's about how am I in partnership and how am I negotiating with my true self, the expansion of and the radiance of my own heart. How am I not, so the low vibe of Libra is the pleaser, is the perfectionist, the one who just wants to make everything just right and pretty. It's like the OCD on some level. That is the low vibe of Libra. We also can use that in a way to arrange and organize things so there's a flow, there's an equilibrium, there's a fluidity that allows the movement back and forth, the give and the take, the receptivity and the offering. And this opposition to Jupiter being in Aries is that sense of self, and how we can realize that we all have a right to have our needs met, to seek that understanding of our true self. But how can we then be in relationship and collaboration with others, having that respect, that two-way side is not just one-sided. It is a two-way thing. And so how are we in that relationship, and how are we changing the narrative so that we're not depleting ourselves or maybe we're sucking everybody and everything dry. How are we working with that energetic exchange in a way that allows for the expansion of our truth? And this energy opposing Neptune is also there to remind us that we don't have to rely on ourselves, right? Sometimes that Virgoian energy that wants to be the healer and the helper and the one who's in service, we forget that we're not responsible for it all, right? My mantra for Virgo season is let it be enough. Simple is good enough. Like these are things to simplify, because just by being your radiant self, the world sees this. Now, the world has some issues. So no, you're not always seen. Most people can't even see the light within themselves. So if you can be a reflection, right? If you can be a reflection, if we understand the full moon energy, right? We just had a big Pisces full moon 2 weeks ago. And in that sort of thing, if you've got to see the moon, if you've ever stood under the moonlight, it's a silvery, soft reflection. That is opposition. So Jupiter is reflecting the energy of the sun and the moon. Neptune is reflecting the energy of Mercury and Venus. And so what we want to feel is this place of shifting. The equinox, Libra is fall, Aries is spring. So we have this dance of opposition crisscrossing the horizon, crisscrossing this threshold. And so how are we feeling the integration? As above, so below. Our inner world is just as deserving as our outer world. And so through this new moon, we can be connected to this energy within ourselves, the peace, the beauty, the harmony, the ability to be centered, to care for ourselves, to be of service to our souls, to our development, to our journey, to find the clarity, to crystallize the shifts that we're making so that we can be in a more harmonious flow and then bring this forward. This would be the energetic signature for this ending of September, this beginning of a new season, this beginning of a new lunar cycle. And so what astrology teaches us is that things are in constant movement, constant flow. We're always moving forward. And with this forward motion energy, we still need to care for ourselves. We still need to respect that we have inner agency and we live in this reality. We live. This is what we're here to know. This is what we came to be in. So we can choose wisely. We can choose mindfully. We can choose to begin again, remaining centered. So if this new moon was to give you any sort of insight, it's that idea of that steady center will bring forward the peace and the harmony. By knowing, there's that saying, peace begins with me. If you don't know it, it's a mantra. You do it on your pinky finger, your ring finger, your middle finger, your index finger. You just go, peace begins with me. Peace begins with me. And you can come back over and over again. When you find yourself in a challenging moment, come to this repetition of mantra, this repetition of a phrase. You could find another 4-word phrase, but you want it to be introspective so that you pause to receive the support, recenter yourself, realign yourself. All these planets are in the microwave. So much energy is in retrograde so that we can review the changes that we initiated 6 months ago, 7 months ago. We're getting the ability to redo and realign. So re-invite these practices that serve you. If you were to do a yoga practice, you want it to be more settled and more grounded on the earth. You want to feel the breath, the samavriti, the even flow of the inhale and the exhale. Want to be conscious of how much energy you're drawing in, that muscular engagement, how much are you offering out organically. I would personally do things that were keeping the hips square, lots of engagement in the core, lots of outer hip energy, but this is partly because I'm trying to heal something that is flared up, and taking care of myself to see that I'm cared for in a way because my life depends on it. Taking care of myself isn't as if my life depended on it. My life does depend on it. Everybody's does. I am not special or unique to that phrase. It's all of us. So prioritize your needs. Know that the cosmos are here to serve you. Prioritize your needs in a way so that as you step out into the world, you know, the moon will quickly leave the sun by the end of the week. Oh, I didn't give you the moon transits. The moon will start in Virgo on Saturday, then it'll be in Libra on Sunday and Monday. Then it's in Scorpio till the end of the month, until the 30th. And Scorpio moon energy means that there will be things hidden, but Mercury is going to trine Pluto, Mars is going to trine Saturn, Venus trines Pluto. So we have this Earth energy trine of our values and how are we prioritizing these big shifts that we've made. Okay, that would be the Venus energy. We have Venus conjunct Mercury, or Mercury retrograde, conjunct Venus in this land of like, okay, are we walking our talk? Are we with integrity? Are we showing the world that we're really taking action in what we believe to be true? Are we investing in ourselves as much as we're investing in all of our output and all of the production of our life? Are we really walking the talk of making sure we're finding the balance, that we're also renewing and taking care of ourselves? Then we have the sun opposite Jupiter. I feel like I'm all over the place on a level, but this is all happening after the new moon on the 25th. When the sun is opposite Jupiter, you might find yourself long-winded. You might feel this expansion. You might also understand very clearly, very quickly, I can no longer give in this way anymore. And so it's time for me to give back to myself. With that being said, I am no longer writing the soul scopes. They take so much time. And the reality is my focus is to finish grad school. I start my practicum. It's not possible. So thank you for understanding. I appreciate your compassion. If you really love the soul scopes, do a soul session with me. I will always have time for soul sessions. Then when the moon is in Scorpio for the 27th, 28th, and 29th, that's a sign that she's slowing down, although the moon will be void for some time on the 27th. We have Mercury trining Pluto. How are you giving language? We're Mercury retrograde, Pluto retrograde, but they're working together. How are you speaking of these changes in this transformation of how you're going to build anew? How are you going to be of service to the bigger picture? And then we have Mars trine Saturn retrograde. And this is about short-term supporting long-term. Think big picture. Think about the work you're doing. Think about the ways you're setting stage and building the infrastructure for your life, for your future, taking care of your health, doing the hard work. And how are you then also taking the time to do this today, tomorrow, the next day? Feel the drive to get things done. Mars and Gemini trining Saturn retrograde. They will have 3 times in this dance. So you can pay attention to what energy is showing up with this Mars trining Saturn retrograde, because we'll have 2 more times to understand this storyline. And then at the end of the week, we have Venus entering in Libra. So the sun will answer to Libra. Venus moves pretty quickly through Libra, but this is the time to bring the beauty. This is the time to find the inner harmony, the peace. So do the work now. Know that the sun and the moon are really initiating this new season, but the energetic signature is still delayed. So if you feel like you're being pulled into the riptide, if you feel like you're being pulled out to sea, know there's a lot of energy to ground you. Know that you can get steady in the shifts, in the palpable and tangible shifts that you can touch, you can feel, you can care for. And then there's an ease to lean into as you move forward this week. I thank you so much for tuning in and taking your time. If you have questions, please leave them in the comments. If you have curiosities, reach out. Your comments and your likes mean everything. Part of the reason why I'm not doing the soul scopes is I just don't think they hold value. I don't. So if you can like or comment, it helps me. It allows me to keep on going. I have to switch things up. This is why I'm in my living room. You might need to switch things up too. Honor that. I hope that I can be an example of how to be true to myself, how to recognize what my priorities are, and allow for the fluidity. The fluidity is just crucial right now. And be kind to yourself. Be your own best friend as we journey through the next week. October and November are like, if I were to tell you buckle your seatbelts, it's going to be turbulent. It's going to be a little intense. So use this time now to be good to yourself and set into motion these ways you can have rapport with your inner world and carry that vibrance, that beauty out into the world with you. So you can be real, you can be true, and be so fully you. Have a blessed and beautiful, I don't usually say blessed, but honor the blessings of your life. Don't count them, honor them, receive them. And may you find the beauty in the day that's before you and know that you're part of that beauty that radiates out into the world.